is so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Are we having fun? Excellent. Well, most of you might think of a beauty queen as someone who is confident, who can do pretty much anything that they put their mind to, who never really had to go through a hard time in their life. And that's kind of how I thought about beauty queens before. I never really thought that that was for me. And I've been sitting in the same seats as you, and I still consider myself to be a victim of bullying and a student because I'm constantly learning and constantly adapting to my environment. But what happened to me in high school truly defined my life forever, and what happened right before Christmas break was a breaking point in my life and really was the lowest point that I think I've ever actually experienced. So I went to a public high school and was having such a great time. Finally found a group of girlfriends that I could have sleepovers with, go shopping. It was really nice to have a group of girls in my life. But unfortunately, the group of girls that I were hanging out with actually started to change a lot of who I was. They started telling me, well, you're really not that pretty, you should probably do this. Or, let's go to the gym, I think you got a little bit of weight here. They would start telling me that my parents weren't that great, that I shouldn't hang out with them all the time, that these people were losers, these people were cruel, and that just really wasn't who I was. But I wanted to feel accepted. So I just went along with it instead of just sticking up for myself. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school that I became the person that they wanted to make fun of. It was no longer me participating, but it was me now being the victim. And it really hurt, and it wasn't fun. I remember one time I got some messages on my Facebook account, or MySpace at the time, and there were messages like, oh, you look like a clown today, just why don't you go kill yourself? No one likes you here, so why don't you just not show up to school anymore? Your parents want to put you up for adoption, don't they? I don't blame them. Things like that, and it was just very hurtful to read. And so when that was happening, I brought it into the school, and I said, well, this is what's happening, what do I do? And unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have a law. And so they said, well, Regan, it happened off school grounds, and we can't help you. Imagine that. Trying to reach out for help, and someone saying, well, we can't help you because it happened off school grounds. Luckily, none of you have to do that, because now we have adapted the law, so cyberbullying is considered an act of bullying. The bullying didn't only happen online, it followed me into school. My friends had now become a pack of wolves, absolutely eating at my life. I had nowhere to turn to and no one to talk to. When I tried to tell my parents what was going on, my mom said, well, Regan, you obviously did something wrong, so you need to figure it out. So then I went to my dad. Dad, this is what's happening, I don't know what to do. Well, Regan, girls will be girls, you just have to learn to deal with it. So now I'm shut off not only from the school, but now from my parents, and I decide, well, everyone must be right. I must be doing something wrong, so I'm just gonna hide. I literally did not go down to the cafeteria for weeks before what had resulted into an actual assault in my high school cafeteria by those girls that I considered to be my friends. I remember the bell ringing, a Snapple bottle being hit over my head, and 3 of those girls on top of me. And I just remember laying there thinking, when is somebody going to help? Does nobody understand what I'm going through? This was happening online, nobody did anything. This was happening in the school, no one stood up for me. And now I'm on the floor. And for what seemed like eternity was the moment I said, I just don't know anymore. So at that moment, we decided it was best for me to go to a private school. Now, my family, we didn't come from money. And I said, well, if I'm going to a private school, I need to find a way to make money to go. So I looked for scholarship opportunities, and I came across the Miss New Hampshire scholarship program. And I thought, well, I could try this, and I might like it. You know, why not? And even if you just compete, you win money, so I'll give it a go. And as I'm standing on that stage, it hit me. I'm standing next to all of these seasoned girls. I'm wearing flip-flops with my gown. And I sat there and I said, you know what? I'm getting a piece of myself back. These flip-flops will turn to heels. My tears will turn to a smile. My dress is going to flow across that stage, and nobody can tell me I can't do that. And so every time I competed, not only was I racking up that money, paying off my tuition bills, having the chance to go to college, which I just graduated from. Thank you. But I was able to get myself back. Having lost myself for so long, I was able to not only win a crown and to win an opportunity, but to win myself. See, in life, we're dealt a deck of cards. I really want you guys to kind of think about this, okay? You're dealt a deck of cards. Now, that dealer can deal you any sort of deck you want, right? So it might be you're too thin, you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too short, you're ugly, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're dumb, whatever it might be. This is your family. This is what economic standing you have. These are what your opportunities are. So you can either learn to look at that deck of cards and say, well, got a bad deck this time, I'm done, and walk away. Or you can say, this is what I have to offer. How do I play my cards so not only do I win, but I can prove that dealer wrong, that I do have a great set? So life is like a deck of cards, and you can either choose to take a higher route and embrace the things that make you who you are, that make you different, or you can say, well, I guess it's just not my thing, or this just isn't for me. It was truly a remarkable experience to stand on the Miss America stage, and I'm not going to tell you that that was easy. No matter what place you're at in your life, whether it's sitting in these chairs, going to high school, trying to join a sport team, auditioning for a part in a musical, maybe you're even competing for a pageant as well, or whatever it is. It's not easy. People are going to be cruel, but it's how you take those messages that really defines who you are. You know, one thing that really stood out to me as well is that if I had a support group like I have now, if I had friends then that I have now, or if someone would have just said, hey, that's not cool, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. Everything in your life happens for a reason, whether it's good or it's bad, and you can choose what you do with it. So today, I want to introduce you to a new student, and this student will be strong. This student will have compassion for others. This student will not stand by and let someone else feel that pain. That student will tell a teacher if they're being assaulted or bullied. They're going to speak up. They're going to communicate. They're going to support one another. And that new student is you. Thank you.